Hello, Ducks fans. Welcome to another episode of the Quack Report with Nate and Carter. We're here to talk some Ducks hockey on your Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, whenever you happen to be listening to this.
Actual Ducks hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Not in depth, but there's at least hockey.
Yeah, there's some preseason stuff that's going to be very exciting to talk about. Yeah, I guess April. End of April, is that when the regular season ended? That's when we stopped talking about it?
Yeah.
So, and I mean, we had playoffs to talk about, but it's not Ducks content. Is my hat sideways? I feel like it is. Sorry.
I don't know.
Gotta make sure I'm
What are
pretty
you
for the
doing
camera.
here, Limp Bizkit? Jesus. I don't even know if that's accurate.
I don't know, but it was funny.
I haven't seen a picture of Limp Bizkit in fucking forever.
I honestly don't know if I've ever seen a picture of Limp Bizkit.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. Is it Biscuit or Bizkit? Because I know it's with a Z.
I think it just said like biscuit.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll have to ask someone who's more from the 90s, who listened to them in the 90s, I guess.
Yeah. Dude, that makes us sound way younger than we are.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, cause
Limp Bizkit is still our generation, but like.
Yeah, but like they were kind of like done at that point. Like, I don't really remember listening to much of them, but
they weren't as mainstream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Anyways, yes, we've got Ducks preseason hockey to talk about, which it's been a while is the point that we've had some Ducks hockey to talk about. So it's going to be lots of fun to talk about those games. And we've got tons of other news, some roster moves, some signings, some interviews. Just like, I don't think we've ever, in the history of doing this show for over 3 years, I don't think we've ever had this much Ducks talk in one episode.
I think we have. I just don't think we've had this much Ducks talk like at this point of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
This much Ducks talk without regular season games.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Oh,
Yeah.
I think we can go with that.
Okay. Yeah. Cause you're right. At this time of the year, it's like literally nothing. Like we're just counting down the seconds until the first regular season game. But like, no, we've got some good stuff.
I like it.
Yeah. It's very exciting. And then, of course, we have our usual show, everything else that we like to get into. So, yeah, it's awesome.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, before we get into that, how was your week, Nate?
It was all right. School's getting very heavy, as
I'm sure
it does, right?
Yeah.
Besides that, though, I didn't really get up to a whole heck of a lot. Oh, actually, no, I did. I started a new job this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know about it, but enlighten our fans.
No, so I think it was, we did the episodes on Wednesday. I had a final meeting on Thursday with local hockey team, the Coaldale Copperheads, junior hockey. And I am now the new PA announcer for them for the 2022-23 season. So, yeah.
Congrats. It's very exciting.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so it was like you're kind of getting thrown right into the fire because I was talking to them last weekend, so like before our last episode even about it, and they were like, hey, like, would you be able to come out to the arena tonight to kind of do it? Because like we are looking for somebody, like we need somebody. Yeah. And I was like, unfortunately, I'm out of town, but I'm up for the job kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so I just got thrown right into the fire basically with the home opener with production and everything like that. So it's a little bit of quick learn by the seat of your pants kind of deal. But about halfway through the second period, I had it down. I probably would have had it down even earlier though, if not for the insane amount of penalties in the first period. Like let's put it this way. Like I brought it up because I had some friends that were asking me about it after the fact, right? They were like, oh, like how's the first game? How's the first call? And I was like, it was good. It was just an absolute shitstorm though with like penalties. The one guy who he calls for radio play-by-play, like quite a few junior hockey games. And he's like, oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me for junior hockey. And I'm just like, yeah, no, but this was like 10 guys in the penalty box at once. And he's just like, oh shit, that kind of game. I'm like, yeah.
And sorry, so you actually sit in between the penalty boxes, right?
Oh yeah. So I was
they were like right next to you,
matches and everything like that. Yep, it was a grand old time.
So you're just trying to focus and say these guys' names properly and get the penalties out there so everyone else knows what's going on. And they're like screaming at you, like basically in your ears at the same time.
Yeah, and it's like maybe, like I want to say maybe 500 seats you could do. Like it's an old school barn, right? Where it's like the bleachers and that kind of thing. But yeah, no, and it was a pretty packed house as well, and that kind of thing. So like, and like, so that was the first period. And then what made it easier in the second actually was like, I was trying to go between like, okay, like jot notes down of like, okay, these are the numbers and like, these are the penalties kind of thing. And then trying to look at roster sheets and trying to find names, and like, it just wasn't sounding as fluid. But then it worked out that the league that this team is part of, they just had a brand new app come out that has updated live stuff, and all of their game sheet stuff now as well, like in the timekeeper's box. It's all digital. And so it's on an iPad instead of written out on, like pen and paper. And so we realized as our timekeeper is putting in the stuff onto the game sheet, it's automatically updating it in the app, actually, like in real time. So you can see it saying like updated or not known yet, or that kind of thing. And so as like, basically we figured that out. And I'm just like, okay, you just tell me when you have everything in and then I'll read it off. And it worked out great and made everything flow so nicely that like I was able to call, like give the announcements basically right after the next like puck drop, which was fantastic. So technology is a beautiful thing. And even the guys, awesome. Like the guys that the guy that I specifically sit beside, Harvey, his name is, he's the timekeeper. So sorry, there's myself, there's the timekeeper, and then there's the game sheet guy. I forget like what the designation's called. But the timekeeper, Harvey, was like, he's been in that position for the last 14 years. And he was just like, man, that looks a lot easier, actually. I'm like, it really is.
Yeah. No, like, I mean, if it's there, like, why not? Like, why use the old pen and paper and like actually write everything down?
Yeah, and just trying to figure it out and whatnot, and especially for, like for other teams' rosters, because obviously you don't know them and or as well at first and that kind of thing. So, but and then second period was running smoothly for that game as well. And then I think it was like 3 minutes left. There was a shit ton of penalties again. Like I'm talking like a lot of 10-minute misconducts. I think we had a game misconduct in there. I think one guy got suspended out of the whole thing. A few guys just ejected for the amount of 10s that they had, which was you're only allowed 2. It was a wild game. And it was like a north and a south team playing each other, and like they don't see each other often. So like even the people I was working with were like, that was just a really odd game. Like that's just not the kind of heat that you would normally have. So
that's interesting.
But game 2 the next day though, on the Sunday night, was a lot better, a lot smoother. And like I think that first game ended about like a half an hour later than a game normally would. It was a long night for sure, but it was a lot of fun though. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity from the Coaldale Copperheads. So
nice. Are there any names either from the Copperheads or from the whoever they played against this weekend? Were there any names that you were like, there's no way I'm pronouncing this right, but I'm just going for it?
I double checked all the Copperheads ones, and luckily just like reading it on my own, I think there was only one name that I was just like barely mispronouncing, but luckily like just double checked and it's like, oh okay, like I just wanted to make sure. But there were definitely, I don't remember what the name was, but I know there was one for sure that I'm like, and like the guy sitting in the penalty box to my left as well. And I'm like, just thinking in my head, I'm sorry, dude. And so I'm like probably butchering his name, but I'm just doing the best I can.
From the opposition.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you like, would you ask him that? Like, would you just be like, hey, sorry, I know that you're mad, but like, how do you pronounce your name?
I thought about it, but at the same time, I'm like, I've also been that guy in the penalty box before. And sometimes you just, like,
you just don't want to talk to
even
anybody.
you're just like in the zone stuff for the game, right? Like, you want to be talking to the PA announcer. So I was like, I'll just leave it. They don't really care. They just more care what's going on in the ice. It's more for everybody else, right? So
if they had like a really funny name, then you could maybe like just mispronounce it on purpose, just to get under their skin a little bit. But that actually reminds me, I was listening to the local radio station here, and the Hurricanes were playing our hometown Tigers in the WHL, and and there's a guy on the Tigers this season. He might have been there last season, but I didn't really follow them too much. But his last name is Hodass, Hodass. Yeah, but it sounds like hot ass when you say it, just like during
like
regular
as you're
play.
Just reading it,
Yeah. So it threw me off because I just had it on like a lower volume because I wasn't really paying attention. Like my girlfriend was in the car, so we were just chatting. And then I just heard hot ass and I was like, there's no way that like I must have heard that wrong. So we waited and then eventually he scored. He's like a defenseman for the Tigers and it's hot ass. And I was like,
That's
oh,
fantastic.
that's got to be so unfortunate. Like, especially when you're in the opposing team's barn. Like, not only is the other team chirping you for that, like, you might get some shit from the fans or the PA announcer, like whoever else is in the box. Like, that's just rough. And he's Latvian, so like it's in his language, it's just probably a normal name. It means like it might mean something totally normal, like butcher's son or something like that. But
Yeah,
that's
fantastic.
Yeah.
How I guess like I love how we're getting down the announcer road. How was the play-by-play actually? Because it's not Bob anymore.
It was it was the Lethbridge feed.
Oh,
so yeah,
okay.
So yeah, it was a different.
I thought you were listening to the Medicine Hat feed.
No, I wasn't. But
gotcha.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can ever find the Medicine Hat feed because I'm assuming they would like stream it online.
Yeah, I think you can just find it on their website or like a radio app on your phone or something like that. But
just to fill in everyone else that is not from Medicine Hat or Southern Alberta that's listening, Bob Ridley was the play-by-play like radio announcer for the Medicine Hat Tigers for like what was it 40 almost 50 years.
No, I think it was over 50 because I think the team started in 1970 and he was.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
and he was
the announcer
first guy
right away. And he was also the bus driver too for like quite a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I think like into the early 2000s. And and I think he still only missed one game in that time span.
Yeah, which is impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. So yeah, growing up in Medicine Hat, right? Like, well, and everybody can say that with different announcers and whatnot. Like even Anaheim Ducks fans can say that too with the guys on Bally Sports there. But yeah, you just like if you're not able to be at the game, you were turning on the radio to listen to Bob call the Tigers playing whoever else. So it was always cool to like that like you want to talk about like sounds of home, like that's a sound of home to me 100% as a Bob Ridley call. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's one of those iconic voices for us anyways. So
yeah. And okay, so I really hadn't been paying attention to the Tigers either, honestly, that much. But I knew that like last year they were doing horrible, which it definitely fluctuates a lot more in junior hockey.
Oh
right?
Yeah.
And
they were like bottom of the league, like bottom of the whole CHL, I think.
Yeah, and they got the first overall pick, which I forget what this kid's name is, but he had his debut on the weekend as well.
Oh, okay.
Where I think they said he put up, was it like 4 or 5, 6 points in his WHL debut at 14? I think it was.
Oh, damn. That's impressive.
Okay, I gotta find this because we got to be looking ahead here. Apparently, in the draft for the NHL, because you never know.
Yeah, right. To be fair, that game at the point I was listening, which was end of the second period, it was like 9-1 for Medicine Hat. So.
Yeah, that was the final score.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. Let me double check. Was it? I feel like it was. What was this kid's name?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's you said he was the first overall pick this last year in the WHL?
Yeah, I think so. There's a whole
Gavin McKenna.
Gavin McKenna. Yeah, there you go. How many points did he have? For some reason it's showing me like 3 seasons ago roster. No, that's not what I want, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Explains why I couldn't find his name.
One day.
Okay, I just saw his birth year. That makes me feel old. Okay, I know he's only 14, but he's in 2007.
Yeah, that's tough.
And 2007.
Yeah, we were 10.
No.
Yeah. Damn, man.
December 20th, 2007. I was a month away from turning 11.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, if it's
But-
end of
So yeah,
2007.
so there you go. He had 4 assists, 4 points
Oh, you found
in
it?
4 points in his very first WHL game.
That's borderline Austin Matthews
As a
numbers right there.
as a 14-year-old.
Yeah, like I know.
In a 17 to 20 league.
Yeah,
That's the impressive part. It's like you see guys, these are all assists, right? You see guys put up points in their first few games, especially in a league that's run and gun hockey, like the CHL really is.
Yeah.
WHL, OHL, QMJHL. But to have 4 points as a 14-year-old in a 17 to 20 league, that is impressive. So
yeah, I would say so.
So yeah, we got to look ahead a few years for the NHL draft and keep an eye on Gavin McKenna.
Yeah. I'm just looking up the draft rules because I can never remember what the age or like what the date cutoff is. So they must be 18 by September 15th. So if he's 14 now and his birthday's December, you said, so that's 4 years from now. So that would be what year is it? 2026 draft would be his draft.
I'm just double checking that here with like elite prospects or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when he might be eligible.
Yeah, I don't know if they would go that far.
2026.
It is, yeah. So
top prospect eligible for the 2026 NHL draft.
Interesting.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I mean, if this dude's playing in the WHL at 14 years old, like there's got to be something special about that.
Yeah.
Because he would have had to get exceptional status, no? Unless it's just for like 9 games, you can do that, like similar to the NHL. How does that work?
I'm not sure.
Because I know there's a special rule for the CHL.
Yeah. Okay, because even last year he played for an academy in Kelowna's U18 team. Would have been at 13.
Holy shit.
Jeez.
Maybe this guy really is supposed to be like something special here.
Where he played 35 games and scored 65 points, 23 goals.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he's from the Yukon. So like, I doubt there's a lot of high level hockey there. So he's probably just running over the competition. So they're probably making a little bit of an exception that way. But we'll have to check in and see because 15-year-olds are permitted to play only 5 games unless their midget team season has ended.
In
the WHL.
Yeah, I'm curious how this will work then. So
it's possible he gets his 5 games, and then that's it. But we'll see.
That's still nuts, though.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that and being like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, and to be fair, it looks like Bedard was granted exceptional player status at 14 as well. So, yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, we got to look out for this Gavin McKenna kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we got lots of stuff to get into right off the bat here for Ducks hockey and Ducks news and all that kind of stuff. But before we get right into that, I just want to do a little housekeeping stuff. So we have a link to a Google form down in the description of the episode, wherever you're watching, just for some feedback. We want to improve things every year here at the Quack Report. So if you guys have any suggestions or ideas for us of what we could do this year to make the experience better for all of your ears, then yeah, just let us know down in there. It shouldn't take too much of your time. It might look a little daunting, but I think should only be about 10-ish minutes. We got some good responses so far. So thank you to people that have done that already. And yeah, also we have a merch store that we opened last year as well with some sick merch, hats, t-shirts, stickers, all that fun stuff. The link is down there for that. And
I have ideas for new stuff, and perfect. I might not even tell Carter about it. I might just surprise you with it.
I love surprises. So yeah, let's do it. So yeah, and then if you're listening to this on your podcast platform, you just came across this and you're like, oh, these guys are pretty cool. We live stream our episodes every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube and Twitch. Just search the Quack Report on there. And Sundays, once the regular season starts, we'll have just regular episodes. Well, we'll record Sundays and post it Mondays, but there'll be no live stream on the Sundays, at least right now.
Yeah.
Subject to change. So I think that's everything I wanted to mention. Yeah, looks good. Okay, shall we get into some Ducks talk here?
Yeah, let's do it.
I guess let's start with the preseason stuff, since
Yeah.
that's kind of maybe the most exciting anyways, and will generate the best conversation, I think.
I feel like it's going to be the shortest conversation because we weren't able to watch them, or at least I wasn't. I don't know if you were.
No. I
So
wasn't.
I'm just going off of like a couple. I just like picked up like a couple highlight stats kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
that's honestly really all I do for preseason. Like if I happen to have Sportsnet or TSN on, and it's like their news show, and they happen to show preseason, like obviously I'm happy to watch it, but I never go out of my way for preseason stuff unless someone does something absolutely insane, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not taking like too much stock in what happens in the preseason. Like unless you're getting later into it and you're seeing like consistent like line combinations or something like that, which is something that we should maybe be, looking at, or that we will be looking at here kind of like coming up, right? Especially with guys like Zegras and Terry, like where are they going to like, you would assume that those two are going to be together, but then who's going to be that third guy, right? And where might Mason McTavish be, or like to start the season at least, and who might he be with and whatnot. So, but yeah, other than that, preseason hockey is just extra hockey before the real stuff starts. I feel like, it's, prospects trying things out. It's fun for that way of just like seeing what you have and that kind of thing. And, but that's really it for me. I don't take too much stock in the actual games themselves. Obviously, players want to win them, but in the end, these ones mean absolutely nothing whatsoever. A team can go 0-7 in the preseason and then come flying out of the gate in the regular season and win a President's Trophy. Preseason means shit. Preseason means shit.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some interesting things just to highlight, like you said, and these are kind of my same takeaways here from these games. So I guess we'll kind of just start with the one on September 25th against Arizona, the preseason opener. Anaheim wins that one 3-2. Isaac Lundestrom had an awesome night with a goal and 2 assists. And Lucas Dostal, 24 out of 26 saves for a .923 save percentage. I do also just want to highlight that Lundestrom was playing with a guy I didn't even know we had done anything with, Rocco Grimaldi. We signed him to a PTO.
Right. I forgot about that.
I believe he got points on all of those as well. Like either he scored a goal or got another assist along with Lundestrom.
I like it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So, I mean, Lundestrom has obviously struggled for the last few years that he has been playing. Not struggled, but like he hasn't been like oh my gosh, he's so exciting to watch. Look at this guy grow. Like he's just kind of been a consistent, like, he deserves to be in the NHL, but like he's nothing spectacular, right?
He's got his spot, but he hasn't done anything to really show that he should be a top 6 guy yet.
Yeah, even though he has that potential, right?
Yeah. Mind you, though, he's worked well, I think, in that third line role.
Yeah, I think so. Like it's
personally.
Like I said, he deserves to be in the NHL. Like there's nothing there that says like, oh, get this kid out of here. But it's just like, there's so much more here. Like we just got to figure out what he needs. Yeah. And I think Rocco Grimaldi, again, I know it's early and it's one game in preseason, but if Rocco Grimaldi can get Isaac Lundestrom to pop off this year for 20 goals, that's a win. And that's a good signing if you can do that. Sign Rocco Grimaldi to, you could probably get him for under $1 million. Even at $1 million though, $1.5 million. Like it doesn't, who cares? We have so much cap space. Like whatever Rocco Grimaldi wants, we can give it to him if he can make Lundestrom into a 20-25 goal scorer.
Especially for this season, right? Like unless Pat Verbeek sees something in this team and the team really produces, right? Like leading up to say trade deadline. I don't think we're gonna have to worry too much about money issues this season.
No,
so
absolutely not. So Grimaldi had he had 3 assists. He assisted on the first goal along with Lundestrom and assisted on the second goal that was scored by Tyler, what's his first name? I always forget. Tristan Leno. And then he assisted on Lundestrom's goal, the third one, which Leno also got an assist on. So Leno had a 2-point night as well.
Nice.
So just those, and I know Leno's a defenseman, but those 3 guys, send them out for 3-on-3 overtime. Start them on 3-on-3. Like apparently they can work some magic.
Apparently, as long as they can play defense and win a draw.
Well, Leno is a defenseman, so and
Perfect.
Lundstrom's a centerman, so it's perfect.
There you go. Now you just have to have Lundstrom win draws against guys like Jonathan Taves or I guess who are the centermen in our division. Connor
Gabe
McDavid, Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
If you're just looking at Edmonton alone, Calgary's probably going to be Huberdeau or Kadri or actually no, sorry, not Huberdeau. Kadri or Lindholm in Calgary. There,
I know it's a different division, but Landeskog, we see him a few times a year, and he's a face-off god.
Yeah.
And McKinnon,
whoever the fuck San Jose wants to throw at us, you change the look. You change your look. You didn't change your shitty team. All right. LA, you're throwing out Dante Kopitar there probably, right? He's a centerman.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just got to be able to beat those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, Dostal looks like he had a pretty good outing. I mean, I know it's against Arizona, so like if it's Arizona's preseason roster, like that's maybe not saying a lot, and it may be a little bit of a blemish if you let 2 goals in on them. But
now, mind you, though, we know that Arizona is stocking up the cupboards on prospects, right? So that does again preseason, but I do like those numbers, and from what I was reading as well, like Dostal, the look of him backed up the numbers, right? Like he did look good and like in position and everything like that. Like didn't really look out of place a whole heck of a lot. So which is promising to hear. So
yeah, that's good for sure. I know we just bashed San Jose. Well, you bashed San Jose, but we dropped preseason game 5-4 to them on the 27th.
Like I said, preseason doesn't mean shit.
No,
doesn't mean shit.
Glenn Godden had 2 goals for us, which is good. When did we draft him? Do you remember?
No, we didn't draft him. We just signed him, this season.
Oh yes,
or this off season.
Calgary, is that right?
Calgary, Calgary system. Yeah.
97 boy, so he would be 25. He's only played 9 NHL games in the last couple of years. So
he's been primarily in Stockton, now Calgary Wranglers AHL thing. That's been a fun thing with Calgary media lately. Is every time they're talking about the minors, they'll go Calgary Wranglers, and they're still trying to get used to it. So.
Yeah, exactly. 50 points in 62 games last season with Stockton, 13 in 22 the season before. Yeah, it seems like he's been pretty consistent over his career, like just under point per game in the AHL, which isn't bad. Good, could be good for a bottom 6 role.
Yeah.
Small guy, kind of.
Most, I would say. I feel like he's probably going to be more of a San Diego guy, but he's somebody that if you need to, could throw him in the bottom 6. Probably
could call him up in case of injuries. I mean, we'll get into it a little later, but looks like Ducks are going to start a little bit more shorthanded than they expected, with a couple guys out with injuries to start the season. So could be some guys that get an opportunity and make a name for themselves, but we'll see. And then Stolarz had a 828 save percentage, stopping 24 of 29 shots. So not bad. Preseason. So
from what I gathered, it wasn't a Stolarz thing. It was an entire team thing.
That's always how it goes, right?
It's preseason.
Yeah.
So
our defense is bad anyways, right? So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, not too worried. Not too worried.
Yeah. So. I'm just trying to look at San Jose's roster too, because like sometimes, like generally, the rosters seem to match up. Like if guys are playing teams are playing their regular NHL guys, like most times both teams will do that. Like it seems like they kind of have that conversation beforehand. But sometimes you get like, oh, let's just throw our prospects in this game, and then the other team's like, oh, well, we were planning on playing our top 6, so have fun.
Yeah, kind of like you get that more in like split squad games if those happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, like it looks like San Jose played like a lot of their NHL guys, like Noah Gregor, like bottom 6 guys maybe, but Nick Bonino, Lorentz, Cunnin, Nico Sturm, Vlasic on defense, like names I recognize at least. Matt Nieto, so like they did have some bigger names, whereas we had like Jones, Zellweger, Mahura, Silverberg played. Derek
There's
Grant.
a more prominent name. Yeah, Grant and Silverberg are the more prominent guys, right? Like Zellweger's still a prospect, hasn't even throwing on the Ducks jersey for like an NHL regular season game. Yeah.
So yeah, like again, I don't want to like seem like we're trying to be all like, oh well, it's just preseason and like look at the roster that the San Jose Sharks played. No wonder we fucking lost. Like it's like at the end, like we don't care. It doesn't really matter, but we're just trying to dissect like, hey, what's this team maybe going to look like? And if San Jose maybe had like an extra line in there, and our majority prospect team held up, like that should be okay. Shouldn't be anything to be concerned about, but we'll see.
Yeah. And oh yeah, no, never mind. I was reading that wrong. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I don't really have anything else to add. Is there any other takeaways you had from these couple preseason games?
I got nothing else. So yeah, literally nothing else. So
okay, sounds good. Sorry, I thought that you might, because usually I'm like, do you have anything else to add? Like, can we move on? And you're like, no, but like, and then you like go off for like a couple minutes about something.
I literally got nothing.
So I took a drink of water and then
it's preseason, everybody.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next little bit of news here. Ducks sign Tyson Hines. It's Hines, right? Or is it Hines? I thought I remember hearing Hines. Anyways, we signed our 2021 third round pick to an ELC, Tyson Hines or Hines. Just under $850,000 per 3 years, $80,000 AHL salary. So yeah, I mean, looks like we're going to get him into some AHL games there, and yeah, it's your standard ELC for a guy who was drafted in the third round, I'd say.
Sorry, it's not that he is going to be playing AHL games. He is 19 still, so
so he would have to go
to make the rosters. He would go back to Sherbrooke. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That was just there, so I was just throwing it in there.
Good
because
call.
It's a two-way contract.
Yeah. So 61 games played. 12 goals, 23 assists for 35 points in 21-22 last season. Split between the Rimouski Oceanic and Sherbrooke Phoenix of the QMJHL.
Good job.
And in the playoffs, played 22 points in 11 games played. No, sorry, I see what you're saying. I should read these a little closer.
My bad. No, I'm kind of looking at that now and I'm like, yeah, okay, if you're just like eyeballing it.
Yeah. 4 points in 11 games in the 22 playoffs. So,
yeah. He is a defenseman, and I do have the elite prospects draft guide from 2021 when he was drafted.
Okay.
They're quoted as saying here, he can pull off moves versus the defenders, showing confidence, and then come back defensively all the way. Hines is constantly engaged on the defensive side of the game. Some reads escape him, but he plays physical and constantly looks to deny plays and separate attackers from the puck along the walls. So I don't really know if like two-way defenseman is necessarily a thing. He's not an offensive defenseman by any means, but
yeah, I mean, it sounds like more so that he's like a defensive defenseman, but like he can carry the puck. Like he's not just like totally fucking useless when the puck lands on his stick. And he's just like, oh my God, somebody else take it. Like, so and
he's not a pass it off guy.
Yeah. To me, it's more of the defensive defenseman, and he's able to make like heads up plays and kind of read what's going on. So.
Yeah. More of a playmaker defenseman.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Which is good. I mean,
or play
if we took him, if we took him in the third round, he's probably not going to be like the biggest guy that has ever played, but should be serviceable in like a bottom pairing role, I would say.
Yeah. Guys 6'3", 188, if you care about that kind of stuff. Solid numbers for a 19-year-old defenseman right now. So, it's definitely he'll definitely put on more weight for sure, right on a 6'3" frame. So yeah. Yeah, no, it's good stuff. He's young still. He's young still.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into a little bit of roster movement. So this isn't necessarily the first round of cuts, because we still have a pretty sizable training camp roster, but the Ducks did send a few players back to the CHL to start the season there. So it might have missed a game or two here, but I guess guys that they just don't see making the team, so might as well send them back to get used to things in their own club. So one of those, Connor Hvidston of the Swift Current Broncos in the WHL. Sent him in there. He was our 5th round pick from this last year. Sent him back. Tristan Leno, who I'm kind of surprised about, but I guess because he was our 2nd round pick this year, like they figured, I mean, you're still young. Like we don't see a spot for you. Like we know what we have in you. That this is good, but we're going to send you back to Gatineau of the QMJHL there. Same with Pablo Minchikov. Sent him back to Saginaw. He was our 1st round pick of this year. Again, I think that's a good move. No point in rushing him into a spot here. Sasha Pastujov, 3rd round pick from last year, went back to Guelph in the OHL. We've talked about him a few times there, but right winger who looks very promising. He's from Czechia, I think. Is that right? Because his name is Russian, but I feel like he's Czech.
I'm double checking.
I could be wrong. Like it's just off the
he's American.
No. Yeah, sorry. I know, but like where's his name from? I thought.
That I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, no, I feel like he's from the States for some reason.
Yeah, like he went through the college program. I think.
Guys from fucking Florida.
Oh no, I guess he was playing in junior. He didn't. But where do you go? What am I thinking of? I must be mixing. I think I'm mixing them up with someone else that we have. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then also sent Mason Mctavish back to the OHL as well. I'm just kidding. No, he didn't.
I was like, wait, what? I missed that part.
There's no way. That dude's playing in the NHL this year. Yeah.
Fucking better be. Like, unless there's a good reason for him not to be.
Like both of his ankles are broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only reason I don't want him skating.
The only reason, yeah.
So, not really any surprises there. I mean, like I hoped that Pastujov and Mintikov would get a little bit more time, but it makes sense. Like if they've already seen 2 games out of these people and a couple weeks of training camp. So like if you just really don't see them making the team, like you might as well send them back. So
yeah, exactly. Especially for a guy like Pastujov, right? Like 21 drafts. So if you're 18 for that, you're 19 this season. Next year, you'll be able to go play in the American League, right? There's nothing, just because these guys are being sent back to the CHL to their respective teams and leagues, doesn't mean that they're not penning out or are bad players or anything like that, right? It's totally fine to let players go back to their junior teams and develop more, right? The CHL is fantastic. Its primary function is to be a development league. Specifically even for the NHL, right? And their type of play, their type of schedules and everything like that. It's a fantastic league for that. So to send them back to those teams to play against, guys more their age and that kind of thing for now, it's not a bad thing. So I see it every now and then of like people freaking out about like, oh, we sent this player back to the CHL. It's like, just relax. Okay. It's development. Not everybody's a Jamie Drysdale who had special circumstances basically with a pandemic thrown, right? That he was playing in the NHL, right? Or like starting in San Diego and coming up to the NHL as quick as he did, right? Other years, you're probably letting him stay one more year, like maybe in. Well, yeah, I guess the whole reason he was playing in the American League was because there was the pandemic going on. Yeah. So CHL wasn't playing, right?
Yeah. Like, honestly, without the pandemic, Jamie Drysdale would probably be playing in the AHL starting this season because he's only like 20, isn't he?
Yeah. Maybe, or 19, I think. I had to double check.
Yeah, but or like turning 20. So that's.
Yeah. Or like he's starting to fight for an NHL spot this year, potentially, right? So,
yeah.
Like, it was either like no pandemic and you're kind of just seeing what happens, or you have the pandemic and he's playing the A and hey, it looks good, bring him up to the NHL and he's stuck. So it kind of worked for him, but like not everybody. Mason McTavish went back to the CHL this year, or like last season,
year,
right?
Yeah.
Like guy scored 3 points, but right, like 2 goals and an assist in 9 games. That's not bad by any means, right? But hey, let him go back to the CHL. Let him dominate, even though he's a 3rd overall pick, right?
Yeah.
Let him dominate, which the guy did. If you didn't realize, he dominated in the OHL. And and let him go compete for a championship, right? And
Yeah.
he got to compete for a few different types, right? He got to go play the start of the World Juniors, right? Probably wouldn't have if the NHL season was going. If he was a full-time Duck member, he wouldn't have been playing on Team Canada, right?
Wouldn't
Nor would
have
he
been
been
allowed,
playing.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, not that he wouldn't have been allowed, but I doubt the Ducks would have let him go play.
Oh, yes.
Right.
I see.
And then
Hey Raniel, welcome.
hey buddy. And then that got shut down. Obviously, you'll play it again this last summer, right? Like Ducks I feel like they wouldn't have let him, right?
Yeah.
Though some teams are good for that, which is awesome, but I feel like probably not. So, but it's okay to let him go back to the OHL, went and dominated the World Juniors, got to go play Olympic hockey. No NHL guy got to do that this year.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
It's not a bad thing. Let's everybody just calm down. All right. Let these kids just go develop some more. They'll be here eventually. It's all good.
And just going back to Drysdale, he is 20 now. His birthday is April of 2002. Yeah. So yeah, 20. But he was also a 6th overall pick, so he was up there. And also, it's very rare for anyone not drafted 1st or 2nd overall to play on the team that drafted them that very next season.
Yeah,
it's extremely rare. There's even 1st and 2nd overall picks that don't play on their team the next year. Although that's also pretty rare. Usually that they make the team. Yeah,
usually they do. There's who was it? I think it was Owen Power last year for Buffalo didn't, but that was his choice to go back to college. Yeah. Though I'm sure Buffalo was probably also like, hey, we want to suck this year and you're pretty good, so you can go back to college. Yeah, that's totally fine. So yeah, we'll see you later. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's in this case, Drysdale is the exception, not the rule. But unfortunately, it's kind of sets a precedent in some people's mind. Like, oh, if you're, say, a top 10 pick, you should be playing in the NHL. And if you're not, you're a bust. But that's not the case.
Not necessarily. So, and it also kind of depends on the draft year as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, you want to go back to top first round pick guys that weren't there right away? Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
They went back to juniors, I'm pretty sure. Then they played a little bit in the American League. Then they came out to the NHL and won a fucking Stanley Cup in their rookie seasons.
Yeah. But yeah,
Perry's still been trying to again for the last 3.
Yeah, with Leno, Minchikov, Pasterjov, and Fidston, I mean, maybe not the last one there, but the other ones we should see in the NHL at some point.
Yeah.
Just eventually. So
eventually. It's fine.
Yeah. Couple of years. We'll
yeah.
See. Well, actually, no, most of these kids are 18. So 3 years. I'd say 21 is kind of when they tend to, let's see, maybe you can get into the NHL now.
Let's see what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. How are we doing for time? Yeah.
45. Take a quick break?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Because we got a couple of breaks that we can do, right? So, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, okay. We will, take a quick break, and then we've got some Ryan Strome news, some Pat Verbeek news, and some cap stuff to talk about on the other side of the break. And you will hear from our friends over at DraftKings and at Raycon. Promo code THPN for both of those. THPN for DraftKings, THPN 15 for Raycon. Nate will have more details in just a few seconds here. There's the video. I was trying to stall for time. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the break.
The NFL action is in full swing here at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. We're talking touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. If that's not enough, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Right now, for every leg you add, you can boost your winnings up to 100%. With payouts bigger than ever, why bet on football anywhere else? To make things even sweeter, you can throw down on stepped-up same-game parlays once per game day all season long. So, what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. Again, that's code THPN, as in the Hockey Podcast Network, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of Jimmy Eat World's Sweetness to get me back into the Ducks season spirit, and it's been great. One of those reasons it's been so great to listen to is because of my Raycon wireless earbuds. Raycon's everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. With optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit, these earbuds are so comfortable and they will not budge. Raycon gives you 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life. Raycons are priced just right, so you get the quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. It's no wonder Raycon's everyday earbuds have over 50,000 5-star reviews. I personally love my Raycon headphones for at the gym. With their noise isolation feature and bass boost sound profile, which is one of 3 available, along with its IPX6 water and splash resistance, they are my go-to earbuds when I'm breaking a sweat. So if you want a pair of these awesome earbuds, go to buyraycon.com today and use the code THPN15 to get 15% off of your Raycon order. Again, that's code THPN15 at buyraycon.com to score 15% off your order.
I just want to hop back to preseason talk as well, because I've seen his name pop up a couple of times, and I just wanted to check how the Ducks were doing tonight against the Coyotes in another preseason game. And Pavel Regenda, his name has popped up a little bit. He was, I think, also playing with Lundestrom and Grimaldi, but he got another goal tonight in the first period against Arizona, playing on a line with Troy Terry and Ryan Strome.
All right.
And the Coyotes are, I mean, they're icing some decent guys. Barrett Hayton, Clayton Fisher, Zach Cassian, Victor Soderstrom. Yeah. Nick Ritchie, Dylan Guenther, who's also a young guy, but he had phenomenal World Junior. Patrick Nemeth, and then against their starting goaltender, Karel Vejmelka. So, it's not like the Coyotes aren't icing a decent team. It's still NHL players. And if he's on a line with Terry and Strome, he's playing against these top guys or these NHL guys. So I'm kind of interested to see what might happen with him, because if he can play with Lundestrom and he can play with Terry and Strome, this Pavel Regenda guy, who is, I did have him pulled up here. No, I don't want the Avalanche Golden Knights. I want Ducks and Coyotes. He's 22 years old, from Slovakia, 6'4", 212 pounds. If he can generate a little more offense with some of the top guys and also play in a depth role, that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it looks like he's lighting up one of the European leagues, HK Dukla Mishalovj. Do you know where that is?
Nope.
Okay.
Not offhand.
55 points. Oh, no, 55 penalty minutes. Sorry. 17 points in 43 games. Okay. So he's not quite lighting it up those leagues.
Now I have to take a look.
Oh God, how do we spell that again? HK Dukla. Don't you play enough NHL that you should know all these teams?
Not in the European leagues.
Why not? It's a professional ice hockey team playing in the Slovak Extraliga, the top level of ice hockey in the country.
Oh, that's why it's a Slovak league.
Yes.
Very small, not as prominent, I guess, in the hockey world in general. So
yeah, but I mean,
no offense to any Slovakians out there.
Yeah. Anyways, point being, this guy's doing stuff, and that doesn't go unnoticed.
No, definitely not.
If you're putting in goals, you're getting, and especially with guys like Troy Terry and Isaac Lundestrom and Ryan Strome, you're getting some looks. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this guy to start the season.
22-year-old listed on the NHL website as 6'4", 212 pounds, the left winger.
And I have
December
no
of
idea
'99.
no idea where this dude came from.
Yeah, no
It's
NHL.
like,
stats,
it literally just
obviously.
says
Interesting.
NHL rights, Anaheim Ducks signed. Like, I don't even think he was drafted, which is wild.
This is
'Cause
where cap
Elite
friendly
prospects would say that, right?
this is where cap friendly is awesome. They do say how,
Like, where the fuck they came from, yeah.
yeah. Cap friendly.
Under transactions, just signed to ELC
And
on June 1st.
yeah, and that's a 2-year one, so that'd be like your free agent type ELC.
Yeah, well,
That's
if he's 22,
not a draft ELC, yeah.
Yeah, if he's 22, right? Like, I believe it's drafted. He was undrafted. Yeah, that's what it says. Because once it's 3 years past your draft eligible year, you can be signed as a free agent. I believe.
Think so.
Is the rule. So, and I mean, this is common for some of those lesser known European leagues. These guys just kind of fly under the radar, and then once they start to enter their primes, people are like, "Oh man, who's this kid? Who signed him? Who's drafted him? Oh, nobody. Okay, this is a gold mine." Like, it happened. Was that kind of the case with Kaprizov too? I believe he was undrafted.
No, Kaprizov was drafted.
Who am I thinking of? Recently, there was he was drafted 2015. I feel like recently there was a guy in the Russian league that I don't remember. I don't even remember the team, so like it wouldn't even be useful. But yeah. Anyways, not saying this guy is going to be like the next Ryan Getzlaf or Corey Perry or anything like that. But I mean, he could come in and make a statement in a middle to bottom six role. So
yeah,
we'll look out for him. Okay. That was off the radar or off the script for a little bit there. But I see that you posted this link in here, but I clicked on the link and then it's like, we want you to sign up for a free account. And I was like, fuck that. So please enlighten us about this Andrew Cogliano, Ryan Strome situation.
I mean, the quote that's there is the kind of the good chunk of it. It's not a very long article, but Lisa Dillman of the OC Register had a good talk with newly acquired Ryan Strome, got him in free agency this year. Just talking about, the Ducks this season and kind of how he even settled on Anaheim, right? Because the guy was playing in New York, which is, for the States especially, like a hotbed for hockey. People love the Rangers and love the Islanders too, right? Depending on if you're in Manhattan or wherever you are, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Very regional for sure. But so basically just saying, like, the line here, it's very true, by the way. Even with like my my announcing stuff, it was just like, oh yeah, like, this person. Oh yeah, I know that person too. And so, but like, hockey's a very small world. So yeah, it even says here, but the hockey world is a small one. One phone call or text message can yield plenty of valuable information. So yeah, Ryan Strome was quoted as saying at training camp on Friday there that he had a lot of good conversations with past Anaheim Duck Andrew Cogliano, and he just said, we're close. A couple of days before free agency, we talked about a possibility, and he was telling me, honestly, it's the best place I've ever been in my life. Nice. That's pretty good considering the guy just won a Stanley Cup in Colorado.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Cogliano continued saying, he said he wants to live there maybe one day. Like, Cogliano wants to live in Anaheim one day when he's done playing. He couldn't talk highly enough about it. He talked about some of our older guys that are still here and that it would have been perfect for me. And he was pretty bang on. So yeah, just Ryan Strome, 5-year, $25 million contract back in July there. So we have Andrew Cogliano to thank for helping our center depth a little bit this season.
Yeah, I'm honestly trying to figure out how these two like know each other so well, because they're not the same age. So they wouldn't have played like junior or anything together. They never overlapped on the same team because Cogliano's 35, Strome is 29. So like that's enough of a gap.
A lot of it is like out of like training, right?
Yeah, but
just in the off seasons. So
I'm trying to figure that out too, because Strome is from Mississauga. Cogliano, oh, he's from Toronto. There it is. Okay, they probably trained together there. There
There's
we go.
a
We figured it
shit
out.
ton of guys that are from like the
Yeah.
Toronto area that know each other and are good friends and whatnots. And like, if you didn't know this already, like Steven Stamkos and PK Subban played minor hockey together.
Wasn't Tavares on that same team too?
I believe so.
Yeah. There was one like minor hockey team that one year it had like 4 big name NHL guys, and I'm pretty sure it was the PK Subban, Tavares, Stamkos, and there was one other one. And you're like, that team must have just fucking tear it apart.
Exactly.
Every minor hockey kid's dream. Like scores in that game must have just consistently been like 20-0.
Yeah.
With all of those guys having like, double-digit multi-point nights.
Yeah,
like, it's
exactly.
just insane.
So yeah, probably training in the off season.
Yeah,
stuff
probably
like
that,
guys hang out, whatever.
And maybe a little bit of what's it called? World Cup for all the playoff teams that are eliminated.
Oh yeah.
Or teams eliminated from the playoffs. The guys can go and play in that tournament. I don't remember what it's called.
World Championship. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I said World Cup, but that's so slightly different. But yeah. So potentially that too. But yeah, I mean, it's great. I'm glad that Ryan Strome did decide to come here. But B, hearing Cogliano say, yeah, I love Anaheim. I want to live there when I'm done hockey. That's kind of a big deal.
High praise. I like it.
Yeah. Like, and because guys in hockey, they don't just like, once they retire, it's not like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to like, just, become a carpenter for the next 20 years to keep making money. Like they stick around hockey. I would love to have Cogliano be a part of the Ducks organization in some aspect, because he was with the team for a long time. If he wants to come here, like he can be some sort of like president of hockey ops kind of guy, or like executive, whatever the role that they're like, what's his name? I can't remember. Some guy in Toronto. Wayne Gretzky had like the similar role in Edmonton, where he's just like, you're just our hockey consultant.
Jason Spezza?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. He has that role in Toronto. So like,
I think what was he the assistant to the GM or something like that?
Yeah, not assistant GM. It's they make up some bullshit name that's basically like, you played hockey recently, so you know the game. We just want to ask you stuff.
We don't have a job for you, but we will make a job for you, and here's some kind of title for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like Andrew Cogliano could be a really good guy for that, because I feel like he's like, a lot of his teammates speak very highly of him. So I feel like he's very insightful for the game of hockey, and he could be a good guy to have just around, especially with how young our team is. And if Ryan Getzlaf wants to, go and travel the world for a couple of years after retirement, and then Andrew Cogliano could be that guy in Anaheim, I think.
Now, Getzlaf's too busy taking care of his chickens.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. He's got shit to do. Andrew Cogliano, no, you're good. You're not doing anything. So yeah, no, that's good. I really hope Ryan Strome works out.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know what it is. I've kind of got a soft spot for him, like, because he played in Edmonton for a couple of years and got run out of town. And then he went to New York, and I've always kind of liked the Rangers. He was with the Islanders too, and I thought he did well there. And then like Canadian boy as well. Like, I don't know. I've had him like on my fantasy team as a depth guy a few times, and like he's been okay. Not like necessarily worth keeping around for too long, but like also the kind of guy you don't want to drop, because he can just slot in and he does something every night. So I've just kind of always had a soft spot for him. So I really hope he works out in Anaheim.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, moving on. Got on a little bit of a tangent there. The Ducks captaincy was addressed by GM Pat Verbeek in an interview with Eric Stevens of The Athletic. You kind of found this one here, Nate, so I don't know if you want to take over a little bit more on just elaborating on this. Otherwise, I'm just going to fuck up by skimming the notes you have.
No worries. Again, I tried to grab the main parts for you, at least, just to kind of get the idea. But just, a general conversation with Pat Verbeek going into training camps. This was on Thursday, so the day after we recorded, of course.
Yeah.
He's talking about a few different things of like contracts, which we'll get into a little bit here too. The captaincy, younger talent, like younger guys. I think John Klingberg. I'm not going to go through the entire article or read the entire thing.
Yeah.
It is on The Athletic though. Definitely go subscribe to them. They do awesome stuff over there.
It's worth the money. I usually never pay for news kind of stuff, but like after reading some of their articles, I'm like, no,
it's
we
definitely
got to do that. So
it's definitely been worth it. So
they have a student deal too. So don't pay full price if you're a student.
Exactly. But yeah, so the main thing for the captaincy, because obviously Ryan Getzlaf had it for the last 12 years, and the Ducks don't currently have one. Basically, he just said though that they're not, there's not like a clearly identified C yet or anything like that.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah, by the coaching staff, by him, the teammates, or anything like that. Like, and unless there is somebody through this preseason, which I feel like probably not, but you never know.
Yeah.
But basically just said that if we don't have somebody who like really stands out during the preseason before, when's the regular season start? The 7th? I think it is. They're just going to go ahead without a C, which is totally fine and a lot more of a common thing in the NHL now, right? Like the Rangers went for like captainless for 6 seasons. I think they ran 6 different A's, like a set of 3 for home, set of 3 for away. And even in our own division, Calgary's looking at probably a second year of no captain after Mark Giordano went to Seattle and then promptly to Toronto. But yeah, so he just said, quote, "I think the room will sort itself out and the leaders will emerge as the year goes along." The one thing that stood out, though, was that Verbeek referred to the next Anaheim captain as, quote, "a guy that we plan on being here for a long time." So
it sounds like it's going to be more of a younger.
A lot of people are kind of looking to the younger idea, right?
25 and under kind of.
Yeah, so even Eric Stevens here looks at like Terry Zegras, even a Mason McTavish, like not right away. Obviously, you're not having Mason McTavish plays for his NHL season. You're like, hey, you're the captain now. Have fun, right? Like you're not doing that to the kid. No. But just probably looking at those younger guys. So this is something that you could go around in circles with, right? Of like why Zegras should be, why Terry should be, why a Drysdale maybe should be, or something like that, right?
Oh, but we could do a whole episode just on
basically just unless somebody really steps out to be that leader this year, we'll probably run with 3 A's in Anaheim this year, which is not a bad thing whatsoever either.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I could honestly see them doing more as well. Like you mentioned with New York, where they have a home and away set, or there's even been teams where they have 4 or 5 alternates and they just kind of rotate through. Like you'll maybe have one guy who's always an alternate captain, and then the other ones just kind of rotate based on either game to game or home and away or whatever the case might be. And that's even the case if you do have a captain, and then you just rotate your alternates through. So I wouldn't be mad about running like 5-6 alternates. Like I think Zegras and Terry could have done enough already to earn alternate captain status. Cam Fowler definitely, well, he has an A. Yeah, Silverberg has an A. So like you could kind of have the mix. Like it's almost like you can capture the whole demographic of the team just by naming 4-5 alternates, and then you just rotate through them, and then you have this solid leadership core of guys that have stood out, but you don't have the one guy that's above the rest. So I really hope that they do something like that, but I'm also glad they're not rushing into, we need to pick a captain now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did add here, which can kind of, actually, you know what? I see that you have something else here first.
Okay.
And then we'll get into this other part because it leads into another discussion, I think.
Okay. Sounds good. You're talking about this last thing I have on the bottom here. Okay. Yeah. So speaking of Pat Verbeek and discussions with him, it's no secret that the Anaheim Ducks media, I don't want to say sucks, but no, because that's not the case. It's not that the media sucks. It's that the organization sucks at telling the media things. So by extension,
they're very quiet.
The media that does come out of Anaheim is like, oh, here's a little sprinkle of something that maybe could happen, and we have no sources for it, but potentially. And then a couple weeks later, it's like, okay, yes, we did trade this player away, but like there's not really any lead up to it. Whereas in Toronto, it's like, is Matt Murray going to be the next big thing? Is Austin Matthews going to get traded? And then it's built up for like
constant.
months before these things actually happen.
Blown well out of proportion.
Yeah, of course. So like
the majority of it.
But it would just be nice to have a middle ground, like say Colorado or like Dallas, like just those teams where like hockey is kind of a big deal, but it's not like, fans are going to rip everybody's throats out kind of level, or like nobody really cares kind of level, which is kind of what we have in Anaheim. But I don't think it's that nobody cares. It's that nobody in the organization thinks we care,
I think it's kind of that, but it's also because Eric Stevens is now also doing split duties between LA and Anaheim.
Yeah.
Where he was Anaheim focused for a long time, right? Like just other media outlets aren't looking at Anaheim nearly as much, which kind of sucks, right? So it's it's like less resources dedicated to Anaheim. So, but like, I know we've even had a couple times, right, where it's like, we don't really have any news to talk about. Like what's going on? Like we feel like there should be something happening here, like something to talk about.
Yeah. And then when shit does happen, like contract extensions, it's like
just out of the blue because nobody had a lead on it. So which mind you, good job on the Ducks front office then, like having people stay quiet about things. Right.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely things that leak out that maybe weren't meant to, or that kind of thing. So like I said, I'm still trying to figure out, like, from somebody what the reverse retro jersey is, right? Those ideas that I brought forward, I'm like, okay, this is just my kind of breakdown of that. Like even just something as simple as that, right? Tight-lipped in Anaheim.
Yeah, but just not Lou Lamoriello is a great GM, but it really feels like we're the New York Islanders of the West, where nothing gets out. And then shit just happens one day and people go like, oh, wow, we signed 4 guys. And it's like, yeah, but these contracts were signed like months ago. And now Lou Lamoriello is like, okay, I guess I have to tell you guys I signed these contracts. They'll be playing in the first preseason game tomorrow. Thanks, bye. And it's like you get hyped and then that's it. Whereas, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nate, because you're the marketing guy. I'm not. I'm just the numbers guy who sits behind his desk and gets pissy when people like don't, write their checks properly or whatever whatever happens. But for marketing, should you not, like, aren't leaks kind of a good thing because it generates hype? Like if a reverse retro gets leaked or teased on purpose, even like a couple months before the reveal, is that not a good thing? Because people are like, oh man, look at this. I really like this. Or like, I'm not totally set on this, but we'll see what happens. And then it gives you time to gauge interest. Yeah. And then people like yourself are like, oh, this is potentially what we could see this jersey looks like based off of how we saw like this much of the sleeve. So this is what I think. And this is what I think. And no, I think this looks like shit. And like you generate a little bit of buzz and then it gets released. Like, is that kind of not what you want from a media perspective? Or am I totally wrong?
No, it's not that you're wrong. It all depends on the situation for sure. So like I know a lot of front office stuff. Like any of the insiders like Elliot Friedman or Frank Saravalli, like these, or even like Eric Stevens, right? Mm-hmm. They're kind of given a go ahead to put that out there, right? Otherwise they're like told to just stay quiet about it until kind of such and such time or something like that they're told that it's fine to do that. Mm-hmm. For the jersey example that you're talking about, a great way of kind of that buzz that you were talking about was the Carolina Hurricanes had put just a wallpaper out of like little like grabs of different jerseys throughout the years. And somebody noticed just a shoulder patch, but it was on an Adidas shoulder because of the dimples in it. And a couple days later, the Hurricanes, like, just that buzz started about it, and the Hurricanes go, yeah, here's our 25th anniversary jersey, right? Just kind of developed that bit of a buzz. Mm-hmm. Now, for the full-on leaks, though, from what I've been told, at least, because Vegas's reverse retro and San Jose's brand new look, right? San Jose's brand new look, like, leaked from like an Adidas concept. Right, like the image that got out is like the official Adidas ones that they do, and the Vegas one was kind of like the finalized concept, is what I was told, but not on that Adidas made template yet. Like not the Adidas cut template, but like the same San Jose look. If you go find those images, basically what I was told though by somebody in the Vegas organization is like, that league specifically, especially because it's not a physical jersey or anything like that, right? It's like the final concept. They're pissed about it.
Yeah.
So like that, they definitely didn't want out there.
Yeah. Sorry. So I guess leaks was the wrong term, but like teases or like or like partial leaks where like I heard somebody say like this, say like the San Jose was going back to teal, and like then it just generates a conversation that way. So like where the information shouldn't be out there yet, but it's from a potentially reliable source, like that's more the leaks I was.
Yeah, it all depends, I think, on if the team is okay with it being out there or not.
Yeah.
And it seems like with Anaheim, a lot of the time is they like to keep things close to the chest. So not to the same extent as Lou Lamoriello. Like, imagine we go to first day of training camp and Ryan Strome walks up to Honda Center or the rinks, wherever they're at. Yeah. Right. Like that would kind of like set things off, but it's, about it in July because no GM is Lou Lamoriello, and it's just like, I want to keep this quiet for whatever reason and have people think Nazem Kadri is coming to the Islanders of all teams, right? Like, no. And then just like suddenly, but then you have the Calgary side, right? Where it's like if we're using this Kadri thing, where they kept that very close to the chest, but then I think Elliot Friedman or Frank Foley broke that. But it wasn't long after that the Flames, like it was like a minute or two apart, right? Where like that's kind of coordinated, but the Flames kept that very close to the chest, and even Kadri did. It sounds like that was in for like a week or two, kind of thing. That it was just okay. This is the deal. The Calgary's had to kind of do some cap management, basically, but this is kind of like the settled upon deal. So Kadri's had it in his head for 2 weeks of like, I'm going to Calgary, whereas a bunch of media outlets are going like, he's going to New York. No. Yeah.
I do remember a couple days before that, though. I think it was Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts was like, or Jeff was like, I've heard rumblings that Kadri might be heading out west. Like I've heard Calgary's name in the mix, but like we're not sure. So it kind of generates a little buzz that way, but it's like, are we really sure? Like we've heard his name tied to the Islanders and nothing's happened. We've heard him tied back to Toronto, heard him tied to Calgary. Like it's just kind of one of those names, and Calgary makes sense because they were looking at him at the trade deadline. So sure. But like my point is that you want to generate some conversation and have an idea of what's going on.
That's a very long-winded answer by me. I apologize.
No, that's okay.
I just felt the need to kind of like break it down of like it. Yeah. Long story short, too long didn't read it version. Depends on what it is and how much they want out there.
Yeah, I also made this a very long setup for really not that much news, and it's not that shocking or anything. But speaking of Pat Verbeek and his conversation with Eric Stevens of The Athletic, the Beak podcast, I'm very excited for that. And not only just that one, but the other shows that are going to be part of Ducks Stream, that they're all going to be Ducks Run. I'm just trying to pull up the list of all their names here. And I know that we're a Ducks podcast and we're not affiliated with these guys at all. So we're kind of just like promoting our competition. But I think it's good for not only just Ducks media in general to have these various outlets to generate conversation for the fans, but it's also just good for the NHL because I think we're going to get a lot of personality from all over the Ducks franchise. And like, it's just going to be super interesting. So they're going to have Ducks Stream, which is where they're going to do like play-by-play, and you can listen to it wherever you want, and it's totally free. And then they have their Light the Lamp, which is a 60-minute hockey-centric show that features a national lineup of guests with new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I think Elliot Friedman's been on one. Dallas Eakins has been on one. There was a couple other reporters and stuff I'd seen. So I'm assuming it's going to be mostly focused on Ducks content still, but that'll be kind of a way for the Ducks to maybe get national media attention in a sort of way.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. From Mighty Till Now, an alumni-focused podcast showcasing the many stories that have shaped the franchise.
That one I'm excited for.
Tinu Shalani and Paul Kariya on the first episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually haven't dived into any of these yet. I haven't really had a chance to. So that that one especially, like I like listening to
it's going to be cool.
stories
Yeah.
from alumni guys. So
yeah, it's going to be awesome. And it's going to generate excitement about the Ducks franchise because everybody knows Teemu Selanne and Paul Kariya, whether you're a Ducks fan or not.
Exactly.
So it's great. And yeah, to be fair, I haven't listened to any of these either, but I did just a quick scroll to see kind of what was going on with all these shows. Which you don't just need to use TuneIn and their app. I don't know. You can use whatever one you want. It's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Spotify. So you can line up your TQR episode and then immediately after say, I want to listen to Light the Lamp after that. Just as long as TQR is number one, we're happy. The Beak, which is what kind of we used to segue into this, an in-depth sit down with Ducks GM Pat Verbeek.
See, and that one does really intrigue me as well because, again, like these GMs don't like to give out a whole lot.
Yeah.
So if this is what I hope it is, this could be really fun actually, and like a good look behind the lens of what it means to be an NHL GM.
Yeah. So this one hasn't started yet, but it does say bi-weekly on the Apple Podcasts thing, or semi-weekly, whatever the twice or every 2 weeks is, whatever.
Yeah, bi-weekly.
Is that bi-weekly? Oh yeah, semi-weekly is twice a week. Yeah. Or I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Every couple weeks, it seems like that's what it's going to be. And it's not going to be Pat Verbeek saying, yeah, I'm looking at trading Troy Terry away, and we hope that we can get Mikko Rantanen back in return. We've been in talks with Joe Sakic for the last week. Like, it's not going to be that. But I really hope that it's going to be like, yeah, I think our team is good, but if we want to take it to the next level, we're going to have to bring in another forward. We have a lot of young defensemen looking to make a step, and with a recent injury, I think we'll get this guy and this guy and this guy in, and so you can make an impact. Like, it'll just be a little bit more into the mind of the Ducks GM, which is not going to be a bad thing because I think Pat Verbeek is a very smart guy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So this one is probably one of the ones I'm most excited for, along with the Player Lounge, which is a roundtable discussion between current Ducks players. Do you know how fun that's going to be?
I can see this going one of two ways, where it's like you got a bunch of hockey guys, just sitting around and talking, or they allow this, which is what I hope, to just go off the rails just a touch.
Oh,
especially with some of the younger guys like Zegras, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, obviously, you want to censor it to a point. I'm sure the players would as well.
They'll be fine. Yeah,
let them just talk.
They're not gonna tell drinking stories from like the night before, like their last game, where they're like, oh yeah, like remember how shit faced we got and how hungover we were for.
But if they had party stories for like the summer or something like that,
yeah, something like that.
Down, so.
Yeah, but I think that's gonna be great because the personality really sucks in the NHL during the regular season. In the off season, it's fantastic. Yeah. There's so many great hockey personalities, but they get super serious in the season. Yeah. And I think just having this, okay, we're going to grab these 3 Ducks players. You guys just sit for a couple hours or an hour or whatever it's going to be. Just have a chat like you normally would. And we're going to post this up for the fans to listen to.
The first thing I want to
And it's very relaxed.
Yeah. There hasn't been an episode of this yet.
No, there hasn't.
The first thing I want to hear, though, just because it definitely can be awkward to just be sat down, put a microphone in front of you. And like, if they are just talk, first thing I want to hear is just, so what do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, right. But just like, because they have so much time between like morning skate and game time, and like they just kind of hang out anyways at the rink for not like all the time, but for a little bit afterwards. Like, why not share some of this? Because it'll give us something to talk about as well. Because I'm sure we'll get some game time stories too, like of something. Like if someone loses a skate blade, like I'm sure that'll get talked about on here, and just like what's going through that player's mind, or someone takes a shot to the nuts and like how much excruciating pain they were in and how they tried to hide it, like all that kind of fun stuff that you don't really get to see. I think will really come out here. Ducks Unfiltered, exploring Orange County through the eyes of Kent French. I'll have a listen to that, but it's not going to be my first choice, I don't think.
The thing I just went to right away with that was I'm glad we didn't pick that name, because that was something I remember we were thinking about actually.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, that would like, imagine if we had that name and then the Ducks are just like, yeah, we have 10 podcasts. Here's Ducks Unfiltered. It's like,
they would probably have to pay us for that because I think someone in the Ducks organization knows who we are to some extent. or like
I've
knows
heard
that
it.
we exist. They obviously probably don't listen because they're like,
Yeah.
these fucking guys. But yeah. Leading the Flock is another one, a podcast highlighting the club's partnership and commitment to the community. I think that'll be a good one as well. I hope Getzlaff is on that one quite frequently since he's so involved in that. Haven't seen Allie in the live stream, but I know she'll be excited about this one. Gulls Report, recapping recent events with the Ducks affiliate, the San Diego Gulls.
That might be beneficial a little bit more for us as well. So that's something.
Just to know what's going on,
Yeah, a little bit more than just like looking up at just looking at the stats or whatever. So
or the box score, yeah.
Yeah.
Ducks Rewind, get caught up on Ducks games in 10 minutes or less. I don't really want to promote this one because that's kind of what we do.
If you want 10 minutes or less, go listen to this. If you want a bit more in depth of like 20 minutes and a half an hour or something like that, then you can listen to us.
Yeah.
If you want the fan version of like, why the fuck were you offside that much? You can listen to us.
Yeah. If you want the unfiltered version.
There you go. Yep.
And then Behind the Bench, one-on-one conversation with members of the Ducks coaching staff, including but not limited to Dallas Eakins. That'll be good, I think.
That one I want a mailbag episode.
Oh yes. But even like some of the guys you don't see, like the video coach, like nobody knows who the video coaches are, but like if there's an interesting video challenge, then you can get into their mind because it's an insane job, like where we get to see all the angles and we get to make a call like, oh, that should be offside. And then the video coach is like, no, don't challenge that. Like I've seen this clip and it's the exact same situation. So they're not going to call it. And we're like, why didn't you challenge that? Like there's actually a reason behind all of that stuff. So I would listen to that just if it was the video coach. Cause like those guys know hockey. Like they probably have an insane knowledge of like, oh, I didn't challenge this play because in game number 41 of the Colorado Avalanche season in 2003 against the Dallas Stars, like, no. This play happened and it was called offside or whatever the case might be. Like they just know all of that stuff. And it's just like instant. So
yeah, I wonder what the goalie coach, the goalie coaches for whatever reason, like they're, the people that they're instructing or coaching are like, can be a little odd as well. Right?
Yeah.
Or like have just like certain things in their coaching styles or whatnot. And so that I would be interested in that for sure.
Yeah. And then this one, they haven't posted anything about this one on any streaming platform, but it's SoCal Hockey Talk. And this one's produced by the San Diego Gulls, a 60-minute podcast covering the Gulls and the state of hockey in Southern California. So it's going to be Gulls related, but it's going to be from the perspective of the Gulls. And like, so this is what goes on in California, and this is what the hockey market is like. Yeah, so it's going to be different than the actual team.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it feels like San Diego and below for levels kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like or just like even beer league maybe, and like, oh, this is where
or high school leagues or something like that.
Or something like that. Or like, oh, we're putting on this charity tournament in insert random ass town in Southern California here. Like, come check it out. Like it's going to be very much geared to people that are just interested in hockey in Southern California is kind of the vibe I get from it. So I probably won't take anything from it. I'll give it a chance, but I think it'll be really good for just SoCal hockey in general as the name states.
Absolutely.
And these 10 shows altogether, it says it here in their kind of announcement article, where Duck Stream will feature the most comprehensive team-focused coverage in the NHL. And that is not an understatement at all. There is no other team that has this kind of self-produced, I want to say, media coverage.
At least this wide of it. Like I know the Flames will have like their Flames TV podcast, right? But that doesn't come out too often either. You're mainly listening to like Sportsnet or something like that. But just as a example. But yeah, this is a lot being put forward. It sounds really enticing to me. Mm-hmm. So here's hoping.
I really wanted to bring it up again, not because I want you to go and listen to these shows so that we can just stop doing this show, because I don't want that. But I think it's going to be a great supplement because it's going to allow, like in kind of our 10, 15 minute build up to this, like this is going to make it so that media has a more regular cycle in Anaheim. So Verbeek says something, Eric Stevens writes an article with it about the Athletic, and we can kind of say, okay, this is what Eric Stevens took from this. This is what we took from Verbeek's conversation. This is what we think is going on in Anaheim. This is what Dallas Eakins was seeing on this play. So maybe we can give him the benefit of the doubt on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just Dallas Eakins trash talk every week on the Quack Report, but we can get into the players a little bit more. Like, we're just going to have so much more content. And also, I think this is going to be great for the league in establishing itself as like not just the fourth of the big four leagues in North America. Like, if this works, and I really want it to work because I love podcasts, evidently, because I'm doing this one, and other podcasts as well. But like, I love podcasts, so I want these to work out, and I want this to be a more common thing in the NHL. Because if you give me an Edmonton Oilers version of this too, literally all I'm doing with my week is listening to Ducks and Oilers podcasts. If you come out with a Toronto one, like, I know people that they would love all of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's surprising that Toronto doesn't have something like this because people love the Leafs somehow, apparently.
Somehow.
But if you can show that this works in a smaller market like Anaheim, there's no reason it shouldn't work in other markets, and it could blow up. And it could also blow up the Anaheim Ducks as well.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, oh my God, look at how legit we are. And look at how cool we are. We have podcasts. Like, you don't even need to watch our games. Just like listen to our players talk and then listen to our 10-minute recap and just be a fan of the Ducks.
Well, I'll still watch the games, but
but like, it'll generate ticket sales. So people are like, absolutely. I love listening to Trevor Zegras talk with Troy Terry every couple of weeks. And then I listen to the games and they sound super interesting. So I want to go check one out. Let's pack the stadium. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like a no-brainer to me. Like, how the Ducks are the first team to get on this just blows my mind. But
yeah, exactly. Too long didn't read a version again. If you love kind of like the more in-depth stuff, I mean, if you're even listening to us, you like the more in-depth stuff, right? You're not listening to a hockey podcast if you're just a casual fan, right? But if you like, if you like the in-depth stuff and the behind-the-scenes kind of stuff, especially, these are going to be fantastic for you. Like, I know, like, I'm not even a Leafs fan, but that Amazon documentary series, right, that like had so much of like locker room and whatnot, I loved that kind of shit. That was fantastic. So like, looking at this, I'm like, this is going to be fun. So it's going to be great. But yeah, just in the interest of time here, I mean, I do have more things I would say about this, but in the interest of time, I think we can go back to the Verbeek stuff unless you want to add anything about these podcasts. No, I got nothing else that I can think of offhand. So yeah, I'm just excited to listen to it. And that the alumni one, that's the one that I'm looking forward to the most, I think. So I love listening to those stories. So
so in Eric Stevens' conversation with Pat Verbeek, he also addressed contract talks for Zegras, Drysdale, and Terry, who are obviously going to be free agents at the end of this season, or potentially could
RFAs.
Be free agents.
RFAs, I think they're all RFAs,
Yeah, which is a type of free agent, but yes. And they obviously don't have extensions yet. They could technically sign extensions before the season. They could do them in season, whatever. And I don't see these guys going anywhere, so I'm not concerned. And the cap is not a problem. But it is nice to kind of know what's going on with this. And I think the Beak podcast will be great for keeping us updated throughout the season. But the quote you have here is, I just want the players to concentrate, which I think is good. We'll talk at the appropriate time. I may talk to the agents over the course of the season, but when it comes down to it, this stuff won't get done until the end of the season. So there's a plan. These guys aren't going anywhere. Yeah. Is there anything you wanted to bring up with these ones? Or?
Verbeek hasn't shaken my faith in him yet to not be able to get this done.
Yeah.
However, though, there's been a lot of horror stories just across the league that different fan bases have been, affected by, I think, with we'll wait till the end of the season. Take a look at Toronto. What was that? 4 years ago? And William Nylander, right? That went into the regular season, right? Just trying to figure out a contract and that sort of thing.
What
feel
I
like
will
that's
say with
maybe-
that
that's-
though is
Yeah.
with that the Leafs were very cap strapped. We aren't cap strapped this season, and we're going to be even less so the next season.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be
So it's
like I don't think it'll
that's
be
not going to
as
cause an
big.
issue, but
Yeah, I don't think it'll be as big of an issue with us. But that's the one thing that's kind of in my head of like I understand that you know, especially for the players, you just want to let them concentrate and do well, especially these young guys, right? You want them to really succeed and push forward and whatnot. But at the same time, I'm like just a slight bit hesitant when I read that. Like, I'm just like, oh shit, because
it's a little too relaxed,
almost.
or laid
Now,
back.
at least this is an RFA version where, okay, another more recent example in Ottawa with Brady Tkachuk, right?
Yeah.
That, mind you, not very deep into the regular season, but missed training camp. And we're seeing that happen right now, even in Toronto, I think, with Rasmus Sandin, right? Like, actually, no, a great example right now, Jason Robertson and the Dallas Stars, right? Jason Robertson's not at training camp right now. And guys who have missed parts of training camp before, like even getting there halfway through, has said that, you know, like it puts you behind. Right.
Yeah.
So again,
and then you get in your head because you're like, I'm not doing as
to,
well as these guys in the first 10 games, and then it affects the next 10 games. Then you're like,
whereas those guys
it's a spiral, right?
I know I'm kind of going worst case scenario, but I've just seen it a lot, and I'm like, I'm just a little hesitant thanks to this quote. But again, like you said, it shouldn't be much of an issue, especially because all of these guys are RFAs, right? I'd have to double check on the cap friendly. I don't think they also have arbitration rates, so that makes things maybe a little bit easier if you want to double check that for me.
I want to say Zegras and Drysdale might because they're younger, but I don't know about Terry though.
No, because I think it's on your second RFA deal that you get arbitration rights.
I thought it had to do with years played. I don't know the rules. It doesn't really matter, but anyway, I'll look it up. So
yeah, if you just want to double check that for me, because that can vary some things.
No, sorry, I've got it backwards. Troy Terry is arbitration eligible, as well as Max Comtois in that same year.
Okay.
And then Zegras is just regular old RFA. Same with Drysdale. No RFA.
Okay, so Terry and not as much Comtois, but those are the ones that are maybe a little bit more, just with the arbitration being a factor potentially.
Yeah.
Zegras and Drysdale, I feel like you're just throwing, especially Zegras, you're just throwing the money at for what he wants, and more than likely not overpaying. And why I wanted to wait to bring this into the next thing is especially with the next 3 years for the salary cap. So Elliot Freeman and Rory Boylan of Sportsnet have put out this article as well, that they were told that the NHL has given guidance about where the cap should or could be over the next 3 seasons. So these are just projections. He stressed not factual, that this is just an idea of where it will be. So for next season, for this season, the cap is at $82.5 million. It got raised $1 million, the first time that it's been raised in the last 3 years, thanks to the COVID pandemic. Next season will be bumped. So for 23-24, will be bumped by another $1 million to $83.5 million. So that helps you. And that's why I said, like, I'm not as worried for this year. It all depends on what we do throughout the season, right? So you gain $1 million. Okay, cool. The 24-25 season, it's expected to jump about $4 to $4.5 million. So between $87.5 to $88 million. That's a pretty big jump, right? Like that's a potential like middle six type of guy.
It's a couple middle six guys if you really wanted,
And then in 25-26, should be jumping again to about 92 million is what is projected right now.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another substantial. If you're looking at the high end for 24-25 of $88 million, that's another $4 million jump. So in 2 seasons, you're jumping $8 million potentially.
Yeah. Or think of it this way, about $10 million in 3 years.
Yeah.
After having not moved for 3 years.
Exactly.
That's very significant.
Yeah, absolutely. So especially with a lot of the bigger contracts that have been handed out this year, right? Like you look at Jonathan Huberdeau in Calgary. You look at, we just talked about last week, Nathan McKinnon in Colorado, right? I was seeing some people already like with the McKinnon thing going like, oh, imagine paying a 35-year-old 12.5 or $12.6 million a season, right? And it's just like, oh, how's that gonna work? It's because that's not literally almost his entire salary is going to be added to the league at that point to each team.
Exactly.
It's not going to nearly matter as much. You're going to see a lot more guys getting paid in the double digits. And Trevor Zegras, maybe with projection, could be one of them. I wouldn't personally. For Zegras to start, and with his production so far, and it also seems like he may be trying to take like all of these guys. This is almost a show me year, right?
Yeah,
where you produce even more, dollar amount's going to go up. So if Zegras puts up 40 goals this year and 60 points, like say Zegras gets to 100 points this season, right? That feels like quite a bit of a jump, but just like he could easily then get that $10 million contract. And in 3 years, that's not going to matter anyway.
No, in 3 years, his contract is basically free. Like it's if the cap does go up to that $92 million. So like it may like, and it's anyone that says signing Trevor or Zegras to $10 million is a bad idea. That looks so bad right now. Look at how much cap he's taking up. That's a horrible take to begin with. But then when you look at how much the cap goes up, it's like that, like now guys that produce half as many points are getting $10 million because the cap has gone up. So like in a few years, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right?
I know that was just like kind of a quick example. I still wouldn't go for the $10 million unless he's hitting like 90, 100 points kind of thing. But like the Tim Stützle area, like I haven't compared their stats recently, but like just kind of out of thin air here, was I think around the 8 million mark for the next 8 years in Ottawa there, right?
Yeah.
That's not a bad comparison kind of thing. Like Trevor Zegras at $8 million. Yeah, Pat Verbeek just like unless Zegras wants more kind of thing, right? But like, I feel like that would be something kind of fair.
Honestly, and again, like you said, it depends on how this season goes. If these guys, if Troy Terry continues to improve on what he did last season, which I think he will, and I think I would love that. And Drysdale takes another step, and Zegras takes another step, and pushes that 100-point mark.
Give them
at 21. I have no problem signing all three of these guys to $9 million each.
Yeah.
Like, that's $27 million. That's a lot of money. And when you look at it, like, okay, now we're probably at the cap ceiling for the next year, and we don't have a ton of wiggle room. But cap goes up in a few years, you're laughing. You're good. It's no problem, right? And you've got these guys who are producing now probably 100 points, or in Jamie Drysdale's case, maybe only 50 or 60 points, but he is our top pairing defensive defenseman, or whatever the case with Drysdale is. And it's like, okay, no, $9 million is actually sick. Like, look at Cale Makar. He's signed to $9 million last year. Was that when he signed that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And people are like, $9 million, that's kind of a lot. Like,
now you look at that and you're like, that's a bargain.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, it's kind of a lot. Like, he's young. Yeah, he had a good season and he could be really good, but $9 million, really? Like, are you sure you want to lock that in for 8 years? Like, what if this happens? What if this? What if this?
Yeah.
And now that's like a value fucking contract because Zach Werenski and Seth Jones are making the same or slightly more than Cale Makar. And it's laughably bad. And Cale Makar and the Avalanche are like, fuck, I'm happy to pay $9 million for the best defenseman in the league. Like, sure.
Yeah, exactly. And again, Pat Verbeek was trained by
Steve
Yzerman.
Yeah.
So I'm not
worried.
as concerned. Like I said, that was just a little bit of hesitancy from me just because I've seen the nightmare of, we'll wait till the end of the season kind of thing. And then you're at a very limited time window to be able to do something before it's kind of detrimental to either side or both. So
no, I agree.
I kind of went worst case scenario, but
no, I have that hesitation too. Like, you really don't want anything like that to happen, but like we've kind of already talked about, we have the cap space now, so it shouldn't be a problem. honestly, in my mind, and I know this isn't how it works, but Zegras and his agent should walk in and be like, we want $10 million. And Pat Verbeek will say, we'll give you 8.5. And then they'll just like pause for a second. And then how about we meet in the middle at 9.25? And then it's like, okay, sure. 9.25, done. Drysdale walks in the door next with his agent. We just gave Zegras 9.25. You want that? Sure. Check the box. Terry walks in, 9.25. Yep. Okay, we're good. Like, that's it. That's exactly what should happen. No questions asked. No trades need to happen because we have the cap space. Like, it should be that easy. It really should be. Whatever these guys want, give it to them in reason, of course. If Terry walks in and says, I want $16 million, then tell him to kick rocks and come back with a better offer. But like, they're not going to do that. So it should be fine. There's no reason to play hardball. The issue with Jason Robertson, as you brought up earlier now, is he's an $8 or $9 million player, and the Dallas Stars have $6 to $7 million. So there's an issue there. Obviously.
And the owner doesn't like paying guys for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it kind of comes with the territory of being a hockey owner, is that you need to pay guys, especially your good ones. So,
but I'm not really concerned about that, since we were the only team in the league willing to give Klingberg $7 million, and we gave $5 million to Ryan Strome. No questions asked.
Yeah.
Basically.
The Klingberg one's easy enough because it's only a 1-year deal, right? I'm thinking, if we're looking at the playoffs, cool. You keep him. It's kind of like an own rental.
Yeah.
If it doesn't look like we're making the playoffs, you can easily give that to somebody else for
sure.
assets, right? So
yeah. So it's kind of the nature of the position we were in this year, but like, it also speaks to the organization has no problem spending money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not even really cautiously optimistic. I'm just optimistic. Like, there's that little bit of doubt, like you said, but I think things are good. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, we managed to power through everything we had on our roster from preseason all the way to projections for the end of next season in terms of contracts. But we did it. We're good. So
there we go.
Yeah. Okay. We've got a little bit of what's quacking. Got a couple things. Or one thing. Did we decide on? I think we're just doing the one, right?
I think just the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's just do it. Let's get into it. So I've got some shower thought kind of things. This was posted by
This is Carter's shower thoughts specifically.
No.
He has a whiteboard in the shower. I've seen it. That
would go horribly. Could you imagine having a whiteboard in the shower? You'd write something down and then wash your hair and be like, oh fuck, what did I write down?
It'd be gone already.
Yeah. This is at Mr. G _Graziano on Twitter. Don't know what his profile picture is. It looks like a vampire. Anyways, doesn't matter. This is things to think about. It's a picture of some things that looks like they were in a book of some sort. So here we go. What if my dog only brings back the ball because he thinks I like throwing it? And we're only throwing the ball because we think they like to go and get it. So what if nobody really likes throwing the ball or bringing the ball back, but we can't communicate that we're doing it for the other person? You're right. It is kind of wholesome that way.
It's a little wholesome still.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
It's like, I think you like this, so I'm just going to keep doing it. And then the dog is like, I think you like this, so I'm going to keep doing it. And then you just stare at each other with love.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. It's like when someone makes you a meatloaf and you don't really like meatloaf, but you eat it anyways because you like it.
Well, I fucking love meatloaf, so.
Well, yeah, joke's on them. I love meatloaf too. Okay, here's another one. If poison is past its expiry date, is it more poisonous or is it no longer poisonous?
What?
I think it's kind of like Tylenol that's expired, where like it's not poisonous, or like it doesn't do anything to you. It's just like less effective.
Yeah.
You know? But I mean, I don't know. I've never had poison, or let alone poison with an expiry date.
I got a friend that's a chemist. I can ask them.
Yeah, do it. Report back.
That's gonna keep me up tonight.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. Like, you haven't even read the other ones yet. That's the thing that's gonna keep me up tonight.
Okay, here's another one. Which letter is silent in the word scent? S-C-E-N-T. Is it the S or is it the C? In scent.
I'd say it's the C.
Why?
If
Because
had
if
to
you
pick
take
one.
the word like dollars and cents kind of scent, it's the same pronunciation, scent, but there's no S. Oh,
Yeah,
so I guess that would make it so that
Yeah.
it's the S that's silent. But also there's sent, like I sent a letter that's pronounced the same. And there's no C in that. But otherwise it's the same.
English
You're
is just
welcome.
a fucked up language.
It is. Oh, don't worry. There's more.
That's the
actually,
conclusion I draw.
I'm going to jump ahead to another one that's in regards to the English language. Where did it go? It's on here. Oh, here it is. Why is the letter W in English called double U? Like double and the letter U. Shouldn't it be called double V?
Depends on how you write it.
Who writes their U or their W's like butts?
I've
That's what it looks like.
I've seen some fonts like that.
Yeah, but like most people go like teeth, like shark
Yeah.
teeth, like shark teeth. And actually, there's a fun fact. This is the only thing I took out of my 10 years of French class is in French, the letter W is pronounced W, which means double V. Because the letter V is V and W is double V. Because that's how people write it.
I repeat, the English language is just fucked.
There is actually another English related one here. This one's
Oh
just
my
kind of
God.
cool. If you replace W with T in what, where, and when, you get the answer to each of them. What, that, where, there, when, then.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of cool. I
I
like that
don't
one.
know.
Okay. Oh, here's one. This one messed me up for a hot minute. Do twins ever realize that one of them is unplanned? That's wild. Because like no one's like, man, really hoping for twins. This time I can feel it. There's going to be two of them in there. You know?
I feel like Brian Burke went up to the Sedin twins at the draft in '99 and went, okay, talk to your parents and not maybe which one of you was planned, but which one came first. That's the one I'm picking.
Yeah. That's the one.
That's how Daniel got selected second overall.
Yeah. Wasn't Daniel the one with the C though? Didn't he get the captaincy?
No, Hendrick got the C.
Henrik? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is the problem with like I have no idea which one is which. What else we got here? Maybe oxygen is slowly killing you, and it just takes 75 to 100 years to fully work.
I saw another one that was like oxygen. We just don't realize is a hallucinogenic, and the world is actually different from what we're seeing.
That would be wild. That would explain why I trip over nothing sometimes.
I think that's just you're clumsy, dude.
Maybe. Could be. Every time you clean something, you make something else dirty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
there's nothing you can't debate that.
No.
One. That's it. Yeah. The word swims upside down is still swims. And if you write it with the curvy M's, then you got what Nate's talking about with the W's that look like butts.
Okay, hold on a second before you continue this. I feel like we need some ambience or something. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
for this. Like, yeah. Let's. I'm just going through. Here we go.
Nice.
Sure. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, this
And you
works.
can keep reading more.
Okay. Intentionally losing a game of rock, paper, scissors is just as hard as trying to win.
Yeah. Yeah, because you still don't. I was about to say like, well, you got like better odds of it, but no.
You know, because you still don't know what the other person's going to
Yeah,
pick.
true.
It's wild. I
The
suck
odds-
at rock,
the-
paper, scissors.
The
dude.
odds just flip,
Yeah.
but it's still.
Still
Yeah.
just as hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another one. 100 years ago, everyone owned a horse and only the rich had cars. Today, everyone has cars and only the rich own horses. Huh.
All I know is that both are still expensive as fuck to own.
It's true. Yeah.
And maintain.
Your future self is watching you right now through memories.
That's disappointing for them.
Yeah, like our future selves' lives must be so boring if we're thinking back to this moment right here.
This specific episode, season
Yeah.
4, episode 4, where we were just going through shower thoughts.
Yeah. Still trying to think about why the English language is so messed up.
Exactly. That's just gonna stick with me forever.
Yeah. Here's one. The doctors that told Stephen King, I mixed these two up, and I really shouldn't.
Look at Stephen Hawking.
Yes. The doctors that told Stephen Hawking. Okay, to be fair, there's 3 letters that make their names different, okay?
Very, very, very different people.
And also, okay, we need to turn this off. My girlfriend has been doing a scare-a-thon this year, so she's been watching a whole bunch of like Stephen King, like thriller horror type movies. So like It, and what's the other one with Here's Johnny, you know, what's that one?
The Shining?
Yes, thank you. So she's been watching like those ones. So I've been hearing a lot about Stephen King. So that's why he's in there. and that's why I mixed up Stephen Hawking and Stephen King. Okay. Here we go. The doctors that told Stephen Hawking he had 2 years to live in 1953 are probably dead. And this is before Stephen Hawking
I was about
died.
to say,
It would be a little
Stephen
more.
Hawking is dead. So.
Yeah, but like before then. They're probably. Yeah. Rest in peace to the doctors and Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to save this one for last because this one's funny. Okay.
Okay.
Here's one. If you rip a hole in a net, there are actually fewer holes in it than there were before.
Okay, that one I have thought about before.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense
Especially-
because like with like lacrosse and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that one I've thought about quite a few times.
So by fixing a hole, you're actually making more holes,
Yeah.
but it's productive.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It really is.
Okay, here's the last one. Many animals probably need glasses, but nobody knows it.
Yeah?
Can you imagine trying to give a cat an eye exam with a little puff of air thing? Dude, your face would get ripped off like so
Oh,
fast.
100%. Like, you definitely have some, like, household animals that you can kind of tell, right? Like,
Yeah, because they like run into shit.
yeah.
They bark and then they smell you and then they're like, oh, it's you. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God, I still remember seeing this one video of, I think it was a pug, I think, or a French bulldog, so, like kind of a smaller dog, but not a small dog, if you catch what I mean.
Mhm.
And the background of the video is like the dog had gone blind, but like just remembered where everything was, and the family had rearranged the house,
Oh, no.
and the poor dog went into this room. You see him jump to go onto the couch. There's no couch there anymore.
So he just like eats shit?
So the dog like face plants into the wall.
Oh, God, that's funny.
It's like, oh no, but you're just like, you can't stop laughing at it.
Yeah, that's
So.
good. Yeah, it's kind of like almost like a Roomba in a way, right?
Yeah.
Because like the Roomba maps out your house, and then if you move shit, it just like runs into it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what's going on? Why is everything different? There used to be something here, and now
Yeah.
there's not.
And fucking with robots is why we're all going to be enslaved by them in the future.
Yeah.
Terminator will be a thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that was all of them. I don't think, did I miss one? No. Yeah, that was it. So
Cool.
those are some things that keep me up at night, and
There
will
you
now
go.
keep Nate up at night.
I feel
And
like shower
I'll keep
thought
you up at night.
specifically needs to be like a reoccurring thing for what's quacking.
Yeah,
Like once a month or something like that. We just like find shower
that'd be good.
thoughts.
I mean, there's a subreddit dedicated to shower thoughts.
Yeah. It's
I had to
fantastic. It's
unsubscribe because it
fantastic to
fucked me
read.
up.
Really? I love
Yeah,
it.
I still go on sometimes, but yeah, it wasn't something I wanted to see like all the time. You know,
I think I'm just going to go read more of these actually.
do it.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Cool. That's how I'm going to end my night.
Sounds good. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's our episode as well.
Yeah.
So that's how we end the episode. That's how Nate's going to end his night. We are the Quack Report, and we are on all the socials at Quack Report Pod. And then we live stream, which you can find on YouTube. Just search the Quack Report there for that. DraftKings, promo code THPN, and Raycon, promo code THPN for 15% off there. And we actually have a contest going on right now with DraftKings, I should mention. So if you go to our Twitter, at Quack Report Pod, we have a contest on there that you can win a jersey. All the details are in the description. And yeah, it's partnered with DraftKings. So, shout out to them with that. That's what reminded me of it. So yeah, go to that. I think it's open till Sunday. Is that right?
Yes, Sunday at 11:59 Pacific.
Okay. Yeah. And it's across the whole network. So the show with the most retweets gets to pick someone who followed, or the show whose contest post has the most retweets gets to pick somebody from that list of retweets to win a jersey. So your odds of winning there are pretty good. And the more people you can get to retweet it, the better your odds of winning, because if we don't get enough retweets, then our show won't get picked. So yeah, that's how that one works. You can follow myself at Carter_Potts, POTTS_97 on Twitter. And Nate, where can people send some shower thoughts your way?
You can tweet your shower thoughts to me at Tatenhomas, TATENHOMAS.
Perfect. Oh, wrong key. There we go. That's the one we want. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Again, merch store link in the description, and link to our Google form for a short survey down there as well. We will see you guys next Wednesday for another live stream. Have a good one.